Hi, I'm Nicole from the Middle Country Public Library, and I'm going to give you a quick overview of 3D printing software. Before we get into the software, however, I do want to touch on Thingiverse.com, a really great resource for 3D print objects that are already made, which is really nice. Making your own 3D object in a CAD program, something like Tinkercad, is really fun and it's a great thing to learn. However, the learning curve can be fairly steep, so sometimes your patrons may not be interested, or they're learning that, but for right now they want something printed that's already made. Maybe you're doing a program and you want to give away little prizes and you're not sure how to make what you want to give away. You can come to this website and they have so many files that are already made for you that you can download for free. Some of them you have to pay for, so you have to look around, but there's a lot on this website. So let's say we're doing a Harry Potter themed program. We can search for Harry Potter. We can check out a bunch of these different files that are really cute. I like this owl, so let's say we want to go ahead and hand out little owl prizes. We'll click on those. If you hit Thingy View, you can, with your mouse held down, you can kind of look around, see if it's something that you like. It looks very cute. You can also scroll down to this section, and sometimes the person who made the file will give you some print settings, which we'll obviously talk about once we get into the software. So for us, the rafts, they say don't matter, and they do recommend putting supports on. So that's something that's good to know for the future. You can also scroll down and see some people post pictures of this print that they did. So you can see they came out pretty good on other people's prints, which is good to know. So if you're satisfied, if this is what you want, you'll hit download all files. They'll download as a zip folder, and then you could just go ahead, and I like to just drag it onto my desktop. So this is our Cura workspace. If you hold down the right mouse key, you can drag it so you can move it where you want it. But before we get into even importing that owl file, I'm going to tell you that you're going to need to make sure you have your 3D printer profile in this software. So Ultimaker is the 3D printer that kind of goes hand in hand with the Cura software, automatically set up to handle an Ultimaker 3D printer. But because it's open source, it can handle other 3D printers, no problem. You just have to make sure that you import the profile for your 3D printer. So for example, this MK3S is the Prusa 3D printer that we print on. Now, Prusa on their website has all of these files that you can download and then import here, and a lot of the other 3D printers out there will have the same thing, and they usually will give you pretty detailed instructions on how to do this. So I'm not going to go over it now, just something that I do want to bring your attention to. Once you get all the profiles necessary downloaded or imported into Cura, then we'll be able to read the G code meant for that machine. Also, another really important part is you'll be able to select the filament or printing width. So that's really an important factor, and that's something that you'll need to have your 3D printer profiles imported in order to do that correctly. Okay, so now that we went over that piece, let's import our owl. So you can drag them in, or you can go to your file import. Okay, so here's our owl. Let's first head down here. There's different views that you can click on just using these. If you don't want to go like that, I like to kind of put them right there. But these are available to you as well. Now if we click on him, once he's highlighted blue like that, that means he's selected, and we can manipulate him a little bit. So let's go over here and look at these top three. They're kind of the most used. So let's look at them. So the first one is to move him. So now we can move him on the y-axis forward and backwards. We can move him on the x-axis side to side, and we can move him on the z-axis up and down. Next up is scale, which you'll use a lot. Sometimes files, they mistake the sizing for inches instead of millimeters, so it might come in super big like that, and we won't want that. So we'll just go ahead and scale it back down to a more manageable size. So if he's kind of floating up here, when they have these stripes like that, that means that it's not printable. So let's click on that and hit 0, bring him back down, and now he's yellow, so that means that he is printable. So we can even make them a little smaller. If we wanted to print out like a bunch of these, say for a program, we might want to make them smaller. So that's how you'll do that. And then next up is rotation. So sometimes when you put supports on, it actually might be better to have your object oriented a certain way and the supports coming down like that, say. So it really depends. You have to kind of situate them and then hit preview, which I'll show you in a second, and it'll show you, and then you can go back and change it from there. But if you are rotating them around and you get kind of lost in your rotation and he's floating all around, you'll come over here and hit reset, and then they'll bring him right back to where he was. We have it the size we want, we have him where we want on the plate. You know, it's good, he's right in the middle, he's definitely going to print, and we have him oriented how we want. Now we'll come up here and look at this. These are our print settings. These are default. These are kind of standard for an average print, which is what we're going to stick with for this print. You can get a little bit more advanced, and there's a lot of different options that you can manipulate when it comes to the print. However, we're not going to get into that right now. We're going to stick with the basic settings. So if you recall, in the print summary or the print settings over on Thingiverse, the creator of this file did say that supports were necessary, but adhesion, which he referred to as rafts, it means the same thing, said it wasn't necessary. So we can actually uncheck that for this print. So once our print settings are where we want them, we will go ahead and hit slice. And now we'll be able to see how long the print is going to take, 1 hour and 37 minutes, and how much filament is going to be used, 11 grams. This piece of information is pretty important if you are going to be having patrons submit files or even print their own files, but you're going to be charging them. Oftentimes per gram is a common way to figure out how much each print will cost. So you might want to pay attention to how much filament is being used. Now you can hit preview, and this will show you what your print is going to look like with the supports. So these things right here are supports. So that's why if you wanted to go back then and you can go to prepare, if you wanted to go back and rotate him a little bit, and now let's see what he looks like with the supports. Go slice it again, hit preview, and now you can see that the supports look like that. So it's up to you. You'll print out a few, test it out, see where the supports are better, and then go from there. It may also change how much filament is used and how long, so also keep an eye on that. But once everything is where you want it with the right supports and you're ready to print, you can save to file, you can save to an SD card. This is the G code that you're saving, so you can save the G code to your desktop, you can save it to an SD card, or if you have a wireless printer, you can send it right to the printer, depending on which printer that you have. And that's it. Now you're ready to print.